So you mentioned the law of one and it corroborating. Could you give just a brief intro to what is the law of one?
Yeah, the law of one is, in my belief, the most incredible channeled work. Just slightly above A Course in Miracles for me in terms of the profundity of the text when you read it. It was a channeled work from the early 80s from a group of three researchers, we could call them. They were researching the UFO phenomenon back in the 80s, which was becoming really prevalent. And somehow this group of about 12 people understood that if we're going to really know who these beings are who keep showing up in our skies with these incredible crafts that can defy all the laws of physics that we know, we should probably be more interested in their spirituality and philosophy than their science. So because of that, they started practicing channeling. And I don't know how long, maybe better part of 10 years, I think, they had this group of 12 people trying to contact extraterrestrials through channeling. And it was all men, which was their first mistake. For some reason, women have a more natural ability to channel, I think, than men. And so one day, one of the girlfriends of one of the guys in the group, her name was Carla Ruckart, joined him along to a session and watched them all trying to channel. And they would get some contacts, but not super profound contacts. And Carla was like, this is amazing. I want to learn how to do this. And she started practicing. And I think within a matter of a few months, less than a year, they were in a session and she had this entity come through named Ra, who identified itself as Ra. And Don, who was the leader of the group and a physics teacher and scientist, he's like, oh, wow, this is a genuine contact. So they said, let's dedicate a channeling session to this being with three of us. Don will be the questioner, Carla, obviously the channeler, Jim McCarty, the scribe, who's writing down everything being said. So they did that, and they ended up having 106 sessions over a 4-year period, interacting with and basically just a Q&A with an extraterrestrial being called Ra, who identifies itself as a 6th density social memory complex. And so when you hear that, you're like, yeah, I would imagine that if one could talk to advanced extraterrestrials, it would be something very out of our framework, very like, oh, wow, this is incredible. I didn't know the universe worked this way. And that's what you get when you read the law of one. There's this feeling of, yeah, I always knew the universe worked like this. This makes perfect sense. And it's exciting. And it's like every part of you says yes to it, but it's also totally mind blowing at the same time. So it's one of those also very paradoxical feelings, but I started reading it years ago and couldn't put it down and couldn't believe that there wasn't more material on it online. And I just started a YouTube channel about 6 months before that. So I thought, hey, why not me? I'll start making some videos. So I made the first video on the 7 densities of consciousness, which is kind of I would say the most foundational teaching the law of one presents, of like, this is how the universe works. And this is how the journey of the soul works. And I didn't really think people were going to resonate with it too much. I thought it would be weird to most people or whatever, but I was wrong. People were like, this is incredible. I want more. Give me more. So I was like, okay, supply and demand. And I just started churning out law of one videos and it just blew up on my channel.
Wow.